Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I'm Shush, no way, the Off-Grid Oracle. Um, Welcome to it, you know. We all, I'm gonna explain, I guess, um, that in the video that I'm gonna post on the day after Christmas. This is gonna be our Christmas video. I'm just gonna go ahead and post this one tomorrow, but that's just because I'm like, like I say, I'm jumping timelines. But I'm gonna do that anyways because I don't know. Yesterday's read is a damn good read, but it's gonna be posted tomorrow, but not tomorrow for me. Right? Yeah, I'm coming to you guys from the future. Right, that's how we're trying to work this shit. Basically, I mean, I don't know, because it's like we live in a world nowadays where any of that can be for reals. It's like I could totally just be an entity, a spirit, communicating to the ethers right now on a magical device that you're holding in your fucking hand, And so it don't matter what timeline it is that I'm coming at you in, or how it is that I'm coming at you, or how you're receiving this transmission. The most important thing is that you receive this transmission. And so, one second, I forgot to grab a treat for Mitzi. So, here we go. She's not going to let me forget. There you go, Mitzi. Yeah, baby. She digs that venison. So do I. It's good. I got a big slab of that stuff right now. Marinating. And it's teriyaki. Yummy. Make a little stir fry. But, right now, like we're in a timeline, that is shared, because like I was talking a little shit, but like the timeline that we're sharing, everybody's on it right now. Kind of everybody's coming onto it. It's like it's a reset. So it's like I really look at the ethers right now as like a rubber band, and it's stretched very, very, very tight, right now, and it's there's no more slop, and so it's like it's really that we're in a timeline where it's like kind of like it's alpha and the omega. I mean, it's the beginning and the end, so it's the end and the beginning all at the same time, right? It's the death card, it's transformation, and a lot of spirits out here, there's a lot of names that we have for it all. It's like there's the NPCs and all that shit, but whatever. It's all energy, spiritual energy that was created by the Divine One, by the Most High, and it's all spiritual energy that has to be brought into balance, in order for it to not break, and like right now we're in a timeline in a time that's quintessential, because like honestly the dark forces have been they're in the business of energy, guys. I mean, come on, it's undeniable, it's indisputable that the demonic forces on Earth, they deal in energy. I mean, that's what everything's about. It's like why wouldn't it be that when an act of war, like we just did in Venezuela, hijacking, piracy, taking those tankers full of oil, is an act of war because that's all they care about. I mean, these motherfuckers are after energy, and they want our energy, they want our soul energy, and so they've been using fossilized energy, energy that's been sequestered already by the universe. It's supposed to be stowed where it's at. Well, they've been utilizing that false energy to create more vessels that hold the living energy, the living spirit of Father God, and so it's like they're controlling the way that the creation, the way that it's supposed to function, energetically speaking, because like they're utilizing an energy that is not supposed to be in living form. We're not supposed to be sustained in the numbers, of course, like the way that it is right now. I mean, and the way that we're sustaining it, it's like they're creating an artificial sense of abundance for life to thrive, because they're kind of like creating a way to sustain vessels that they could keep a living energy in that vessel, but they don't want that energy to be doing anything that is the divine work of God Most High, you know, and they want to, so like that's why we got so many around here now that stumble around. They're like seemingly empty vessels, you know, but it's just not that they're like empty vessels. It's just that their spiritual energy is supposed to be operating in a different timeline. It's supposed to be operating. It's supposed to be doing its thing in a different dimension, you know, in a different space, not here in Earth realm, because Earth realm is designated for like a certain, you know, certain fucking passages, and it's like we get our opportunities to be in Earth realm, but when we're not in Earth realm, it's not like we're just like what said somewhere with our thumbs up our asses. No, that's how the other timelines exist too, energetically, you know. And so they're being starved. Those timelines are just so flabby right now that they're just like deflating, where ours is so stretched right now like that rubber band, because they're cramming all of our fucking energies in here, that it's gonna, you know, if it keeps going that way, we're gonna fucking snap this timeline, and then that's going to cause all other timelines to collapse. That's how they're going to try to destroy the universe, you know. Okay, so come on, this is a war against God, and God is the ultimate energy, you know, the ultimate source, right? The Creator, the Most High. And so, yeah, man, Merry Christmas, you know. And so the lies, come on, you know, guys, wake up. My old man always told me, you know, Satan claws. You know, don't let Satan get his claws in you. That's what the old man always told me. He said only pedophiles get crawled down a fucking chimney. My old man was a drunk. He was a drunk bastard, but he had some wisdom, you know. He played piano good too, you know, played piano. And he said a lot of things that you had to have good discernment to find the wisdom. Any fucking ways. That's what's happening, you guys. That's what's going on right now, okay? And so 2026 is a big deal, and that's the big deal, okay? And so it's like, you know, man, I'm not into eugenism. I mean, I'm not out here, like, I'm just trying to get everybody ready for the wild ride that's coming, and get everybody to kind of wake up and realize and see what it is that's going on around us, because what I'm talking about right there, about the use of energy and what they're doing with the energy, and why they've created the concept of the fear of death, you know, and like prolonged death, you know, and like, or prolonged life, you know, like they're trying to live forever here on Earth and everything like that, you know, is because these are energetic demons, man, and they really are, and they're trying to trap us. So they're trying to suck too many of us in here and sustain a population of living human beings, you know, and that's why all the animals and shit are going away too, because see, they need to have their slot in fucking in God and Earth realm, you know, and God is trying to just balance every fucking thing out, you know, but that ain't working out fucking good for nobody. We need salmon in the fucking river. We need bison in the fucking Great Plains. We need grass in the Great Plains. I mean, we can't just fucking snuff every fucking thing out here. Instead, we got a bunch of humans squirming around on this fucking thing like maggots. I mean, we got to fucking think about this, you know. We got to have a fucking brand new intelligence right now, and we're having that opportunity. Not even a brand new intelligence. We got to preserve an intelligence that has kept us alive for all these fucking eons, you know, and not let these motherfuckers trick us. I would rather come back and resurrect and you know, than for the whole fucking thing just to snap. And that's what we got to start accepting right now. In order to live, we got to know how to die, you know, and in order to die, we got to know how to live. I mean, that's just what it is. This is the fucking Alpha and the Omega. That's the solstice, right? All right. Well, we just fucking got born again, okay? And so it's springtime now for us. And so we ain't talking about death, you know? We're talking about how to fucking keep this motherfucker alive right now and make sure that rubber band doesn't break. Man. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's how we get it out here, you know? I'm not sure, like with my channel here, I might start another one and just mirror it and start posting videos over there, and I'll try to get you guys that consistently kind of watch it to come over there and just boost it real quick. And I think that might help the algorithm, because in some ways I think I pigeonholed myself, you know, a little bit. I just didn't move right, you know. And so that's something I've been thinking about doing and just experimenting with it. So it'd be like the same channel. I just would post on both, put the same content, you know. and then I might just diverge depending on how things go out here, because there's going to be a lot of progress moving forward in the off-grid projects that I have, and I'm wanting to do some really cool projects. Like this year the garden is something I'm gonna really focus on with success too, because like I got that fence up. That's all I need is a fucking fence, and that's gonna make a big difference, and that's gonna be cool. A lot of good stuff there. And I really want to work. Also, I want to build a something I had at my last place that I built. It was a rocket stove powered greenhouse. So it had a heat bench that was built. I built a rocket stove for it, which those rocket stoves are really cool. It's a lot of brain power, and they're really useful devices for a lot of other things. Like I built a rocket powered hot water heater one time too at the other place I had, which worked pretty well. I had a lot of kinks that I needed to work out on it, but like at the same time, like I want to work on a lot of that stuff. Those are things I really want to build. I'm also going to build a compostable toilet and like some other things out here, just getting the place really, really up to stuff as far as the off-grid stuff goes. And so I might diverge and do one that's like Terra, and then one that's like off-grid. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I was just kind of putting that out there. You guys can always put a comment, if you want. But anyhow, we're going to pull some cards then and see what Spirit has to say about rubber bands and wars over oil. Sorry about that last read, the one I just did, that you guys watched yesterday or whatever, because, I try not to do love reads, like I really do try not to do love reads, I get a little embarrassed about that shit when it fucking comes out in cards kind of like that, but that's what it is. I still posted it. I wasn't gonna, but I was like, fuck. Maybe there's a message in there for somebody, and there is, because it's not just a love read. It is a love read just because, but it's like, not because like the energy really does apply. It's a great read. Spirit's really talking to us heavy about trusting God. Trying to really remind us always that when we stand as that whole ass motherfucker. So it's like with me, I'm a Capricorn, and so that was Spirit definitely speaking to me. But they were telling me, you're a whole ass motherfucker when you're your own Queen of Pentacles and your own King of Pentacles. So it's like your mommy and daddy to your own ass. And that's how we had to be. That's how we were raised, And so it's like we really learned how to learn how to fucking nurture ourselves, and we really had to learn how to be stern on ourselves. And it's like right now we need to heal that, because that's a big responsibility, for us to carry, especially as children, And so that's them children wounds that we're learning to heal, and we're learning to really trust and really see in ourselves on both sides. It's like I can look at myself as a King of Pentacles and go, damn, motherfucker, you're the best cook I know. You always keep the fucking house clean. You always got the dog fed and fucking taken care of, and fucking ticks pulled off his fucking neck. It's like you always got the shit taken care of. You're a hot bitch. And then my Queen of Pentacles can look at my King of Pentacles and go, yeah, motherfucker, you always know how to move, And that's what that reads about. And so that's good energy, because that's the energy that we're going to have to embody. That's what we got to stand in right now in order to be the best leaders, the best examples that we can be. Because we have an opportunity to do that with rare astrological occurrences and rare social environment right now. We're in that fourth turning, And so the kids out here, they want good leadership. The kids out here have been raised on their own fucking too. They've been raised by fucking goddamn internet. They've been raised by the on a device, by devices. Think about that, device, right? They've been raised in a lot of device. Yeah, we haven't been, it's like honestly, but nobody's paying attention. Nobody's been paying attention around them, and now they're realizing, like, oh damn shit, what the fuck are we gonna do? And so it's like we gotta really grow up right now, you guys. And I'm speaking to people most strongly right now who are in the same generation as I am, because like this stuff is a big deal, because we didn't catch that, we caught the fucking tail end of that boomer shit, and we kind of got the crumbs, we didn't get a whole lot out of it. We got parents who neglected us, and we got fucking a bunch of distractions, and really exposed, because we were unsupervised, more or less, a lot of people that are in my generation, and so we had to raise ourselves. But we're the last generation that really is the truth, knows the truth. We know the difference. We know the world pre-internet, and we can honestly see now why it is that, like, we were so our upbringing was how it's been so dysfunctional. It's so unnatural, because we could compare it to our grandparents' generation and even our great grandparents' generation. Because, like, I remember having conversations with fucking this old guy I worked at when I was like 14, 13. One of the first jobs I ever got, I washed dishes in this old, like, state-run heavy duty convalescence home for, like, people who were, like, heavy duty, like broke, really poor, but like needed a lot of care or whatever. Like, a lot of them had Alzheimer's, so they're just totally fucking manly spirits in their vessels, right? And but there's this old guy in there. He's like 103, so he's just really old. Didn't have no family, nowhere to live, be homeless otherwise, right? But he's telling me all about fucking the Civil War and shit, I was like, what the fuck? But that's the thing. It's like we're that last generation who know how to go back to a way, because we know how things were prior to this huge industrial boom. Because, like, with that guy, they weren't sucking all that oil out of the pit. He knew how the world was prior to the world being totally consumed as it is right now, because of our use of the artificial energy sources right now that are supposed to be sequestered. And so basically we bridge that gap. I mean, my grandpa remembers the first tractor that was brought into the valley where I was born, where my great grandpa came over and homesteaded in a wagon, in a horse and buggy, and so, or in a wagon, covered wagon on Oregon Trail. And so my grandpa used to always tell stories about, during the Great Depression. See, now was the last time this shit happened. That was 80 years ago. That's the fourth turning. Okay. And so during the Great Depression, the homesteaders, they ran them all out of there because they couldn't afford to pay their taxes, because my great grandpa was a sustenance farmer, so he just raised a little bit of extra that he would sell to buy, like, sugar and, like, flour and the basics, but everything else they grew to eat. That's what they did. He had a team of horses, they're all horsemen, because we're Prussian, and so, like, they're all horsemen. And my grandpa was a horseman. He had a team of horses too, But he always tells a story about how in the 30s, because they lost the homestead, 160 acres there, during the Great Depression. They couldn't pay taxes on it. So the government took it. But what they did is the government then sold that land off cheap to people who came out of the city, and that was, like, kind of the first, like, kind of pseudo back to land movement. It was like 5 acres of independence movement, really, if you study your American history, right? And it's an interesting period, because they took all the farmers off from the land, all the homesteaders, all the, like, real, like, frontiersmen, like the homesteaders. They removed them from their lands that they because they duped them into having to pay taxes, and then the value of the dollar went down, and then they couldn't get by with just growing a few little crops for cash to pay their taxes, and they took that land, bam, and then they sold it to city people real cheap after they stabilized the economy. And then the city people aren't farmers, they fucked them over, and that's what my grandpa said. After the Great Depression ended, the city people bought the big bottoms out where Gales Creek area where I was born, and it's like big flat bottom, and he said that really nice fields, beautiful soil up in Oregon, And he said that the whole community came out and watched this guy bring his tractor out, and it was the first tractor anybody ever seen. And the grandpa always talked shit, because he'd say how like that city slicker, because grandpa was a horseman, he's a plowman, and a plowman takes pride in, like, making a real straight row, because then it's easy to always plow your crops down as you go. Because, like, after you plant, you plant your rows straight. Then when you go and you run through there with your furrow or with your other equipment, to weed it and do all your other work, right, with your wheel hoe and stuff, then your row's straight. You don't take out your plants, and so it's real crucial to have straight rows, right? And so my grandpa always would talk shit, 'cause he said that city slicker kind of came out, they bought the land, didn't know what he was doing, so he came out, bought a brand new tractor. And he unloads all this big deal. Everybody's like, whoa, what the hell, and they unload this tractor. And then Grandpa said he started to get to work, and he said, Grandpa's always like, and that goddamn son of a bitch, fuck, just like a dog's leg. He's all like a dog's leg all the way up that damn field, I'll never forget that shit, But I'll never forget that shit. My child, or his children, will not know that reality the way that I know it. That was handed to me from mouth to my ears from my grandfather. And I know exactly what field he was talking about that he stood on, because it's right across from the homestead where he was born. And it's like I know that for a fact. I know that reality. It hasn't been, that's a reality. That's a truth that my grandpa taught me, that once I pass, if I don't actually prove that truth, and there's so many things like that we need to be proven to our children, teaching to our children, in order for them to go back to an understanding, because that's a lot of useful information in that little story right there that I just told. You see, and that's what we're talking about on this channel. All right. I try not to ramble, man. 20 minutes deep. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for fucking hanging in there with me. But listen to that story and think about what I'm talking about, because it's our responsibility right now. It's our duty. We can't have our generations ahead of us being raised by computers, being raised by AI, man. We can't. We're gonna lose all truth that we know. We're not gonna be able to feed ourselves, and we're gonna be put in fucking pot. I mean, come on. I mean, look at anything that's domesticated, My grandpa was not domesticatable. He was not domesticated. He was his own man. We weren't gonna ever tell him what to think. And he always had a freezer full of meat. He always had, my grandpa never had a job, that day job. Never, I've never seen him. I've seen him do a couple little things like build barns, but always like trade for hay and shit like that for his horses, And we're losing that way of being a human being, And once it's gone, it's gone. We're the last generation that really knows it can be something, instead of having it just be like a false reality, or just like a fairy tale, It's like I took my kid down to the beach. It was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Well, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It was a long time ago. But Fukushima, when Fukushima fucking did its thing, it killed all the fucking, I heard on news shit, because like all the starfish and everything got sick, and it killed a bunch of fucking sea life. And I hadn't really I hadn't gone to this one spot where, where I went, and like that back in the day, dude, it's fucking crazy shit in there, big fucking starfish, like big, huge, all over the fucking place, and it was all gone, and I had to catch myself. It was like, honestly, it was the first date I went on with baby girl, And I was telling both him and Raven, baby girl, because I was telling and I was telling them both like that. Like, everywhere we went, I was like, man, there used to be these this kind of fucking starfish here, or like, oh, there's like this kind of seaweed over here, or there's like, oh, there's these kind of shellfish over here, and I got real sad, because I was like, man, what the fuck, like what the fuck, like I'm sitting here telling these two young people like that everything was there, but it's not there now. And it really sank in on me, and it's happening to us now, not just, like we're not really being aware of how life is just getting erased. And we're not really thinking about why it's just getting erased, and we got to, it's our duty. We have to tend to the garden. We have to tend to the ethers, right? We have to tend to the, that rubber bands like this, you guys. And so, how do we get it so we can fucking get everybody to just start backing off a little bit, and so we can have a little bit of fucking mobility here. That's what we need to do, And that's why everything feels so tense, and that's why all these motherfuckers out here want to fucking kill each other and shit, And so, what are we gonna do about it, man? That's what we gotta start asking Spirit. That's what we gotta ask Spirit, We gotta say God, And say Father God, Mother God, thank you. And please guide and direct us. Like, lead, guide, and direct us, those who have that in our heart, the humility right now to hear you, Father, Mother. And I know that we got some of you here, definitely, you guys, and it's good. It's very good, and let's just always pray to God. We got to pray to God very strong together right now to help guide the masses that are around us, and to help us guide ourselves away from this thing that is becoming so very destructive right now. We got to recognize it for what it is. It's not a fantasy. It's like it's not a fantasy right now. It's a war of good and evil. The fucking karmic wheel is getting fucking reset. All right. So we ask Father God, we ask Mother God to protect us and our loved ones. We ask Him to always make sure that we put one foot in front of the other on the path that they've given us to step on, because that's the only thing that matters right now, and that's what's going to lead us directly into our heart space, to ourselves, and back home to Mother and Father. And then we can lead everybody else back home where they belong to. In that garden, in that peace, where that. In that tranquility, in that space where we can trust everything that's around us again, and not have to have any fear of ever having to cover ourselves with fig leaves, or ever having to live in a world again where we feel like we have to protect ourselves from the garden. Amen, Father. Bam. Sword of truth. King of swords. Okay, God's always the King of Swords. It's always the one that's gonna always tell us our truth, that we need to hear, that we need to understand, and that's why we have to always be praying with an open heart, always, and never, ever, ever be afraid of the growth that we're experiencing, And like this card right now, that five of swords, it really that's that rubber band, That's stretching really, really tight, and it's like we all really feel it, we do, we feel it, it's like it's on the back of everybody's fucking minds, because it's like, things are fucking tense, man, and so it's like what Spirit's trying to tell us is here, because it's like, again, with that this five of swords, I like that five of swords card in the upright position, because it speaks of growth, and it speaks of like where expansion, like definitely, but we can't have a growth and expansion so quickly that we snap. That's what's happening right now. It's like these warmongers, these slavers, these greedy ass pigs, like these bastards out here that only care about bottom line, but getting their fucking money, getting their because in like reality, you guys got to understand. Money only has value in it because it's your energy. It's like, you're selling somebody your energetic force, and so you're trading your essence of energy. So it's like if you were to look at it like you're a battery, right? And so we all get printed with a different lifetime span on it, and so some of us are fucking 5-month battery, some of us are a 5-year battery, some of us are a 50-year battery, and some of us are a fucking 5 eon battery, right? And the powers to be, they fucking understand that. They know how it works, like they understand it, like everybody draws straws like that, and so that's what they try to fucking feed on, and there's a lot of in the spiritual community, we talk about this a lot, because like this is what the war of good and evil is about, is how we get the energetic force to be who and what we are, or how we get extra energetic force to make us more powerful over those that are around us, right? And that's that energy there as well. And so, how they do that? How do they harvest our energy? Because we talked about this a lot, not just on this channel. I'm not saying everybody talks about that a lot. How do they harvest our energy? How do they do that? How do they defeat us? How do they get us in a position where they have more power over us? By having more money, and that's the truth, and that's why they love slavery and all that shit so fucking much, and that's why they're trying to enslave you with this this mentality that we're not good enough to be just as good as they are, and for us to think that because they're bigger than us, that they have more than us, that we're little, even though there's more of us than there is them. And that's a major misconception. Now, how would they get us to fucking think that? They got more money. Well, what is money? Well, money's only soul energy. It's spiritual energy. It's human effort. It's your energy, in essence, that you have traded for a fucking a token, some kind of a token, piece of gold, or like whatever the fuck it is, dollar bill, coin, that they give you. That is then supposed to like sustain you in the other ways that you need. So it's like we need external energy sources, So it's like we gotta buy food, and we gotta have clean water, and we gotta have this shit to keep our fucking generator running. You know what I mean here? But like some generators, they fucking generate more power than other generators, And so it's like if you take that energetic force that you have, because like you could eat a couple grain of rice and go longer and harder or whatever because your generator's got more muscle on it, right? And well, you can sell that shit, and that's what you sell. That's what gives money value, you know. And so that's why the bigs get bigger, and the littles just get fucking littler, you know, because it's hard to compete in that kind of a fucking world without getting eaten. It becomes very predatorial, and that's what they're preying on. But that's what gives their coin value, you know. And so the only way that they could be empowered, the only way that those giant ass fucking generators, they become nuclear power plants now, you know. And so it's like we can't even compare, you know. It's like we're all feeling like we're just fucking getting stumbling around here fucking confused and lost and tired and worn out and fucking not getting anywhere, while just the one motherfucker right there has all the swords, you know. And that's what's getting ready to fucking give, you know. And so it's like, how do we stop them putting that much pressure on us? Because as they put that pressure on us, that pressure is also being put on the fucking ethers. They're stretching it too fucking tight because they want to suck up as much of that energy that is ours as they possibly fucking can. And so they're trying to, by design, create a slave race. They're trying by design to just create a way that they can breed us and enslave us and suck us dry, you know, because we give value to their coin. That's us selling our spiritual essence to them. And so it don't matter one way or another, you know. It's like if they're enslaving us or if we're working for coin, either way we're enslaved. Either way they're fucking harvesting our energy and they're sucking the fucking life force right out of us, you guys. So they can be more powerful, more bigger, more stronger, more in control, and we have to feel weak and lost and fucking small. Are we gonna allow that to fucking happen? Hell no, you know. And we see it for what it is now, and that's why we're gonna turn them fucking tables on them, you know. And that's what it is, you know. And so it's like we have to realize that it's all the way it works, you know. If that's the way it works, you know, we got to quit selling them our spiritual fucking essence so that they can't keep fucking putting that pressure on everything around us. You know, we have to say, no, man, we're going to humbly walk back to what it was that God created us to be in the beginning here. We don't need to be big and bold and bad and think that we run every fucking thing in the universe, you know, so we go be competitive with fucking God and shit, you know. No, that's fucking narcissist. We're willing to go humbly back to where we came from and say, hey, Father God, please show us a way. We don't want to break this shit. And that's the promise. 2026, justice, you know, and that's what's coming right now. It's going to be a universal justice, you know. And it's going to be universal justice because Father is not and Mother is not going to let it break, you know. They'll let it go as far as they have to because they're hoping and praying that we could figure out how to fucking solve this problem on our own. They want us to grow up, you know. They want us to be whole ass powerful motherfuckers. That's the whole goal, you know. And then that way we can join back into the celestial, you know, because like right now as human beings we're excluded from our fucking ranking, you know, because we don't know how to behave. And that's the truth. And that's the truth is spoken by all ancient cultures, you know. That's not just, you know, it's in the Christian Bible. Definitely it says that. But all cultures say that the forest has excluded us, you know, because we thought we were exclusive. And ain't that a fucking prick? Ain't that a fucking prick? That gets they think they're something special, you know, and so they can't know how to behave amongst everybody else, and so they go somewhere, they get kicked out, and they're like, oh fuck you, I'm gonna board the fucking walls up, I'm gonna board the fucking doors up and burn the place down, then fuck you guys. And that's kind of the attitude that we've had, you know, and that don't make Mother or Father very, very proud of us, you know. But getting this Page of Swords has been popping out a lot too, you know, and it's coming out here with the Chariot card, you know. And that's that. Honestly, like the energy that's what I'm talking about right now is like that forward fucking push right now that they've been pushing it so fucking hard, right? We need to fucking, you know, Because Page of Swords is not diving into fucking battle. The Page of Swords has kind of got that sword back a little bit. They're like, it's like it's wise for us to be very cautious right now about the way things are moving forward. Definitely, and with that Page of Swords energy right there, it's wise for us to also be kind of in that defensive stance, to kind of stand back there just a little bit like that, thinking about it. Like that's what we're talking a lot about here on this channel right now. A lot, just thinking about it. Because like I say too, it's like with this whole deal, it's that the strength card energy that was coming out in some of the previous reads, and with the rubber band, it's like we got to learn right now how to make it so that the pressure comes off from that rubber band. Like we can't just like all of a sudden start swinging that sword with that Page of Swords energy. It's like we got to be really selective about how we go about reducing the pressure on that band that's around us. Because if that rubber band is stretched really, really tight, right? Well, we want it to kind of like this, right? Right? Because it has to go back like that. It has to go back like that. Because if it's like this, and then we just get in there and start cutting, it's going to go, wah, 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 wah. And we can't have that. That don't work good. That ain't going to solve the fucking problem, And so we got to be fucking Page of Swords in the way that we're moving forward in our mission right now. The mission that we're on, okay? I know you guys get it. Yeah. See, boom. Tower in reverse, of course, and that's what Spirit's saying, right? And so we're in a position here. It's like I said, man, we're the last generation right now that could get this to start coming back. It's like we need to be pulling some motherfuckers back away from the chase, towards that tower that's collapsing, because like we know how to collapse it properly. So it's like if we just gradually collapse this, if we don't. Because like right now they're really pushing it hard. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of tension. The ethers are extremely fucking tense right now. I mean, extremely fucking tense. They're talking about really making moves. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I really hope that nobody is like, our leaderships out here are that stupid that they would do something cataclysmic, And so we got to pray to God, heavily pray to God, and say, hey, Father God, we'll lead, please lead, guide, direct us so that we can lead, because if you do, they'll follow. If you make it, they will come. That's what we're saying right now here. And so we got to be, what the Tower card says right now is we got to be very loving to ourselves in the fact that that it's okay to stop and to stand and to think about it. It's like we're the ones that need to stop, stand, and say, hold on a minute. Like, what is going on here? Like, we're pushing things, what is fucking going on here? Like, we need to do that and be grounded in that decision and not feel like the oddball because everybody else is like diving into a fucking hot fucking steaming pool of acid, but they think it's a fucking warm bath. I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that we're sitting here going, whoa, we need to be that lemming, or else everybody's gonna jump right off of that fucking cliff, and then it gotta be fucking. Then the rubber band's gonna just snap. It's just gonna break. And so we gotta be the leaders. We gotta be those leaders that don't lead at all. We say, whoa, we got to everybody. It's like let's hold, think about this collectively, It's like we gotta be those ones that really truthfully believe that the path that what we're diving forward into is really, it's not just a show on TV, because like that's the thing too, it's like my grandpa always talked about the Great Depression often, always, because he went through that shit. It rattled his fucking cage. That was real life. And like he had stories from his parents' generation, and his parents' generation, that was real life. I mean, they lived fucking. I mean, I'm a fucking modern man, like compared to them, fucking by far. I mean, they were fucking, frontiers people, crazy shit, And it's right now everybody's been living in such a soft, like our reality has been fed to us in a manner that is not real. You know, they totally fucking got into our reality with Hollywood, with movies, with everything, to where we don't even understand what it is. Like the reality, the concept of a tower crashing has become like some fucking movie version. Like nobody even has a fucking idea of what of the outcomes, of the possible outcomes, or even of the reality of like what that might feel like, right now. And so everybody's moving in a manner that is like childish and lacking faith. It's unbelieving, because they don't believe that it could get that bad, because we haven't seen it that bad in since my grandpa's generation, and that's the truth, And so got the Empress card here on the bottom of the deck, and that's this showing reverence to, I like to talk about the Empress sitting on her throne in the forest, and so come on now, like come on now, our God's empire is a living, thriving, growing empire that will always feed us. The gulag and the cages that are being built around us is an empire that is money, which is mammon and the devil, pages again. That tower. But we have nothing to fear, because we've shed everything that we've ever feared before, because we faced in towers, many towers, and so right now, that stability that we have in ourselves of being able to stand in those tower moments, that's why it's like everything has always been like, fucking why, man? We've had to really fucking go in our own internal like space and intuitively try to figure fucking shit out, because it ain't been an easy ride, We've always had to fucking slow our roll. Like we've never, like again with this Knight of Pentacles, it's a contemplation card. Like I said, it's not a thought card, but that Page of Swords in the upright position, that is a thought card. And so that Page of Swords in the upright position still's got that sword like that, because they're like, man, and they know that shit underneath their feet is not so stable. And but this one right here, see, like when that Page of Swords, that's good. Like we gotta defend what it is that we know. That other people are like, whatever, that seems flimsy. Well, the Knight of Pentacles energy says, no, it's not flimsy. It's actually on very stable fucking ground, because the Knight of Pentacles is just outside of like the fucking norm in this card here. It's like that Knight of Pentacles is kind of taking what little bit they got and willing to kind of go out on their own towards a path that's fucking stable underneath their feet. Because they know better with that Page of Swords energy. They stood and they've thought about it up against the odds, because with that Page of Swords, the Page of Swords is on unstable ground, but they're standing their ground with their fucking sword, and trusting their intuition. And so those are the energies that we work with. And so it's like in a lot of ways, we come off, always have came off as being, like anybody that's a revolutionary and in their fucking heart, who's like being like, hey man, this shit's fucked off, Well, they don't look at us like true fucking blue motherfucking revolutionaries, like real life, because nobody's really had a cause to fight for, And so they've taken away that they've made it, they've reduced that attitude of being a real true patriot, Because honestly, I mean, if we're just gonna put it in stupid terms like that for everybody to fucking understand, we're talking about, because I don't believe the history, that I don't believe what they fucking told us, but so I'm gonna utilize references from the fairy tale that they fucking tell us, all right? And so they tell us all these stories about like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, who probably never fucking existed, okay? I don't even know that they're real people. You and I don't know that they're real people. There's no way for us to prove that they're real people. But if they were real people, they would have fucking said exactly what I just motherfucking said. Exactly what I just motherfucking said about the fucking king, too, because they knew intuitively exactly why they were fucking enslaved, and they wanted to free themselves from that, right? They had a bountiful fucking amount of natural resources, and so that's where maybe the pig-headed came out in them, because they couldn't fucking separate freedom from greed. And they thought that you had to be fucking greedy to be free, And we're learning right now that that's going to get us motherfucking nowhere. And so we're real life fucking revolutionaries, and we don't give a fuck about what they think about us. They call us dirtfoot motherfuckers out here broke dick in that fucking Knight of Pentacles energy, like we fucking need something from them. But we're the ones who are offering them that fucking pinnacle of truth right there that will fucking save their asses when shit hits the fan. We know that. Trust your intuition. Follow that path that's ahead of you right now, right there. Bam, bam, bam. Okay? Because even the fucking crawdads are going to crawl the river and follow your asses. Once we get this together, us chosen ones, and we follow ourselves towards each other or through the ethers, we work together to lead the masses, they're going to fucking follow us because our wisdom is revolutionary right now. It is, you know? It really is. We're the real motherfuckers out here. We're the real ones who go, no. Because like what they preach to us about, the Thomas Jefferson and then like George Washington shit. You know, they say George Washington fucking didn't have teeth in his head. He's fucking eating his horse to fucking starving, you know, all the troops freezing to death and shit, trying to get across Delaware to fight for their fucking freedom, you know. But maybe he was just protecting himself to be free, to be a pig-headed fool who was a slaver. It was like all about fucking, you know, just killing off the indigenous populations and fucking gutting the salmon out and fucking just all that shit, destroying the totem animals like the buffalo and everything. And exploiting everything. And so he's an exploitive hog. And that's the problem that we have right now that we really need to snap out of and not be afraid of, to walk away from and say, well, I'm not an exploitive hog at all. I can go ahead and stand here as a Knight of Pentacles and fucking follow my guidance from God Most High, my intuition, be a magical motherfucker out here and know the truth and realize that as these sands shift beneath me, that's because Father God's going to make sure that every fucking single pyramid built by these fucking greedy hogs is going to get buried in fucking sand, you know? And we're going to remain standing, children. BAM! Oh, man, I don't know. You know? Well, fucking, I don't know, you know? The fucking shit, you know? Every time I do a read, I kind of like am, I don't know, you know? I just don't know, you know? I don't know whether or not I'm going to post it. Basically, I'm always like, I don't know, you know? Like, it's one of them things, you know? Like I don't want to be, you know? It's what it is, I guess. I should continue to do it. And I thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys for being here, you know? And, like, I really hope that we could get somewhere. Somehow together, you know, because like we all know that these are truths, you know, like that it's not just a tarot read, you know. We appreciate the assistance that Father and Mother God give us, you know, to become the best leaders that we can be, and it's quintessential for us to do that right now, you know, because if we don't stand, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's going to be nothing left of us, you know. Like that's the thing, is that they're driving that gap, you know. And where they're taking over everything, that is our growth, that is our experience, that is our tradition, that we should be traditionally handing down to each other, you know, and trusting. I mean, I flipped that, the Knight of Pentacles flipped off the bottom of the deck, but it exposed the Fool. See, we gotta fucking trust that shit right now. We gotta be the ones that find that ability to really draw ourselves back, you know, kind of quietly from this beast that's around us, that's destroying everything, you know. And lead in a way that others are going to go also quietly go, yeah. And we'll just drift back into the fucking forest where God could hear us again and where we could hear them again. And then it will feed us again, you know, because we're going to be listening to it and listening to them, you know. It's like we ain't going to get fed by the garden if we don't listen to the fucking needs of every member of the garden, you know. That's why it's very essential for us to operate in our God energy and in our God frequency, because that's how we communicate with the garden. Okay. Page of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, it is. Page of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. Right now, man. And we're avoiding that tower over there. I didn't forget about them. The towers. That 7 swords, that 5 swords, yeah. The 5 swords is good, though. I've been really digging the 5 swords card lately. It's been saying a lot. It's been speaking good, you know. It's been, like I talk about out here, you know, with energy and stuff, with the cards, you know. Talk my homie on here about, you know, trying to get different energies detached from the cards, you know. Because they don't have to have all certain energies attached to them. They could have whatever values on them that we want to place on them, you know. And so right now too, see, we're really weighing up what matters most, you know. And so we're trying to figure, we're not trying to figure, we're seeing right now that, you know, that the value of things, you know, the value of really what it is, you know, and how did we get here, you know, like that's what we're thinking. How did we get here? As this tower is poised, you know, as that rubber band looks like it's gonna fucking snap, our ability to ask ourselves, and man, I'm telling you, it's like this, the chosen, we're chosen, okay? And so it's like, we're chosen, okay? So, well, chosen for fucking what, man? I keep saying this on my channel because this is something that we got to fucking talk about, you know? And only a chosen one is going to be willing to go, okay, yeah, that makes sense, you know? We don't want to just sit here and have somebody fucking stroke us off and try to be like, oh, fucking, you know, all this bullshit, like you're gonna be some fucking living god and stuff like that, you know? Nah, we're gonna be fierce warriors of what is true to Father God and what is fucking most important to Father God. That's what we're gonna say. What does God value most? What does God value most, you know? Why does God love me so damn much? And, you know, and what does God value most? What does God want me to value most, you know? Why does God have me here? That's what this question is that this one's asking, and that's how we find our most highest level of self-worth. It's not by conquering the masses, you know. It's by knowing what God wants, and then being a fucking true representation of that, and showing them the balance, you know, showing them how when we stand in what it is that we are, that God created us to be, and know fully what that path is meant to be, and how to work with every single other thing that out here that has that same destiny as us. We strike that fucking balance right there, and resurrect. See, back right into the fucking same cycle, but into the same cycle that we resurrected out of. That was always eternally abundant for everybody and every fucking thing that is in that cycle with us, you know. And that should make a lot of sense. And that's when we live in complete unison with everything that's around us, as God created us to fucking be, you know? And so it's like, if you want to know how to resurrect back into life, you got to know how to live, right? And you got to be living as you die, as you transition, you know? It's like, as you, you know, because like, you know, I mean, die, it's like, but I mean, it's just simply like, you know, you just move from one vessel to the other, you know? And so we all have the ability to really transform and change, right? By the choices we make right now. The way that our next resurrection works out for us, you know? And so we could resurrect into a really fucking beautiful fucking experience, into a perfectly divine balance, a perfect fucking place for us to reside in, where we no longer carry them fucking woes and the strain and the sorrow and the illness and all that shit that we have present right now that's manifested into this reality. Well, once we learn to transmute that shit, we don't carry it with us back into our next fucking transit. We don't. We wake up in that ideal environment, you know, where we want to fucking be, where our soul doesn't struggle. Okay? And like, we have the opportunity right now to really make that a reality for everything in the universe and for everything here in Earth realm. And so that this tower doesn't collapse and just snap that fucking rubber band, you know? It's like, we have the ability right now to teach everybody this trick right here, because, you know, that's like the big one, right? Isn't it? Right? To always ensure you have the passionate fucking brand new beginning, you know? And so as living organisms, as living beings right now, we're teaching that in the physical realm right now. They got to watch us fucking resurrect alive, you know? And so we're teaching them, we're like, no, we can never be taken down. We can never be owned. We can never be bought. We can never be broke. We can never be enslaved. We're always going to be free, you know? And we're not going to enslave others either, you know? We're all going to be the thing that God destined us to be, but we're going to have the wisdom to see that same greatness and those who are around us, you know, and that's the only fucking way we can have a passionate fucking new beginning, you know, because if you can't love every fucking thing around you and have utter gratitude for it to God for giving that to you, then you don't ever fucking learn how to really enjoy life. You want to fucking have everything bought and fucking paid for, and you want to be fucking some hotshot out there with a bunch of fucking chumps fucking riding your leg because they think you're more powerful than them. And that's what these money grubbing motherfuckers out here want to do. And that's how they rob your spiritual essence, you guys. That's how they rob your fucking spiritual essence. And you fucking, you know, fuck them. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good read. I've been praying hard. I've been really working on a lot of shit out here, transmuting heavy. You know, I've been fucking heavy transmuting, you guys. I hope you are too. And you are with that Ace of Wands. Fuck, we know you are. You know, so fucking good work. But I have been really moving a lot of energies, you know, energies that, it's shit that's been, they've been fucking latched on me for long eons, you know, and so it's time for us to reset here, you know, and so the best way to reset is with, it's not, like I said in that previous read, it's not a matter of not having baggage and everything, you know, we got our baggage, but we know how to carry it, and we know what that, we know, we're sorting through what it is now that serves its purpose, what doesn't, you know, and so it's like we're carrying a lighter load, but we got it's like all 10 of them ones right now on our back serve us absolute fucking purpose, and so yeah, we can carry that load. Queen, High Priestess, you know. Yeah, fuck yeah, we love this bitch. You know, just straight up, you know, and that's because that bitch right there is you, staring you right in the fucking mirror, okay? Stand in front of a mirror. So, me introduce you to you. And I'm happy to be a friend, you know? It's a high honor. And I appreciate that. And I feel you. And I hear you, you know? And I see you. And, every way that matters most, you know, because that's where we're operating at right now in those ethereals, and then in a timeline that's making this all make sense, and it's gonna resonate, you know, and we're gonna penetrate through the thickness of what of the cloud that everybody's walking in right now, you know. It's like we're gonna penetrate through that darkness, and we're gonna reach that space inside of God's creation, where it's gonna bloom, you know, again the way it's supposed to, because we have that level of wisdom in our possession right now, you know. We've asked and we've received them, you know, and so yeah, fucking High Priestess, right? You know, guys, these energies have been, you know, really have been. Like, I've been really praying to them, you know. I've been really fucking praying to them, you know. Just praying, you know, like it's all I do, you know. There's a lot of time for that. Spend a lot of time by myself, you know. I mean, I'd say right now I spend probably like 97% of my time by myself. I mean, for the whole year, I mean, I don't know, something like that. Pretty good, pretty lot. High Priestess. High Priestess. Don't be afraid to stand by yourself either. You know? Don't be afraid to listen to yourself ever. You know, because you fucking know why you're an earth angel, and why what we're talking about right here on this message, you fucking know why it makes motherfucking sense. You know, and with that temperance card too, that's tempering, and I was thinking about oh gosh, man, I was trying to remember it, you know, but tempering too, you know, because that's like when God gets your fucking edge on there, you know. But then I was thinking about I can't remember now. It'll come back to me, but it was significant. I keep thinking with that temperance card, because it keeps showing up too, you know. But with that High Priestess, you know, I mean, and the temperance is, oh gosh, I was thinking about, cause it's temperate, you know, because like that temperance, it's like, yeah, it's temperate, you know, and so it's like I live in a temperate rainforest, you know, and so it's like with the water changer here, that's the wet season, dry season kind of thing, you know? And so it's like right now, energetically speaking, we're in our wet season, you know? And so it's a time for growth, you know? And so it's like we got to realize that, and we got to make the best use out of it right now, because it's like the gardens that we're going to plant, and it's essential that we do plant gardens, you know, right now. Definitely, like definitely. If you've been having that calling, I'm gonna just say definitely this year, plant a fucking garden. Okay, like get on it right now. Get seeds right now because you're gonna be you're not gonna regret it. You're gonna be very grateful that you got some seeds. You know, and if that happens, you know, if YouTube is still working, hit me with a comment. Let me know you're happy to get them seeds. Okay, you know, maybe buy a couple chickens too. You know, I mean, I don't know, you know, but with that temperance, I was just thinking that how it's like, you know, it's like right now, you know, it's like we got to realize why we're being called and what we're being called to, you know, and so it's this whole vision, this whole dream of the fame and the riches and the glory and all of that. Um, we can't rely on that. That system is this tower that's going to collapse, you know, and it's based off of narcissism for sure. Okay, but we're wiser than that, you guys. And so I'm gonna let this one go here. We'll leave it there. One more card, Spirit. One more card, Spirit. It's the same cards. We get a lot of the same energies, you know. I like that. I like when Spirit talks very clearly. That's the Seven of Swords, okay? And so I like the Seven of Swords. You know, I really do. Right now, I like the energy on the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords, both of them upright. You know, and because that's again, that's us. This is us really fucking winning the battles right now, in the sense of like we could be sitting there going like fucking see, told you so. And we are. And I mean, I think people even are coming after it. Look, we don't really have to, and we don't have to. And that's what we're feeling right now. We're like, you know, it's like I'm not even gonna because we know we've always known, you know, and it's like everybody has always tried to make you feel stupid, basically. You know, it's like kind of be like, whatever, fuck them, you know. But we stuck with it, and we're like, no, it's what it is, you know. And so now, you know, it's like, yeah, of course, when your whole life you're fucking telling people like, hey, this is what's gonna fucking be going down. This is what's fucking going down. Yeah, it's like when they came out with self. I mean, at the internet the whole time with the internet, I've been like, whoa, man, this is fucking crazy. You know, like this is definitely, of course, this is where it's gonna go. Here we are, you know, and it's like I've been led, guided, and directed. I mean, lead, guided, and directed. God had led me down a path a long time ago. You know, I mean, I came into my calling a long time ago. You know, it's like I didn't walk firmly on my path. You know, it took me a while to get it figured out. For curse, you know, we're all trying to learn here. Seven of swords, five of swords. You know, but what it is that we are now, and so we're kind of like feeling. You know, because you got to watch it with that energy, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, but we also, what Spirit's telling me is that, yeah, man, High Priestess, you know, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for showing me, you know, even though they don't want to listen, you know, because everybody thinks a High Priestess, weird ass bitch out there, you know, the fucking weirdo, you know. Because like we've always been really far ahead of the class, you know. So it's like, yeah, you can't. When everybody's out there having a party, they're just saying, that's the fucking best time ever. And the High Priestess is saying, well, you know, the party's gonna have fucking come to an end, and you're all gonna fucking be so hungover that you ain't gonna fucking be able to show up to work wherever you're gonna get fired, kind of, you know. And that's kind of where the thing is. Speeding towards, you know. It's like we need to be very careful right now, very cautious, and make sure that we get the masses to understand the growth that we've experienced to become this High Priestess and avoid that fucking tower, you guys. So you're an Earth Angel, good work, okay? Excellent work, and keep going at it because we're the balance right now, and we're keeping this whole fucking thing held together, you know, because we're the ones that, you know, they can't stretch us so far that they're gonna break us, you know, and so it's like we're the ones that could be that recoil. We're the ones that are gonna give the fucking universe a little bit of give, long enough so that Father God can come in here and work through us and educate everybody that why we gotta fucking figure this shit out so it doesn't just absolutely go nuclear. You know, it's fucking important right now, guys. And so I love y'all. Peace out.